All right, I want to talk about the fact that I'm going to be sick, and you're all going to be sick with me because bed bugs, the bugs, they're in our beds. They're coming. Oh Lord, are they coming? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll just quickly.
I thought we're still in the Aboriginal segment, and you're doing the accent.
No, we're talking about the bugs, and as you can see here in France, there's been a bit of a bug outbreak, and you can see for people listening, a huge pile of mattresses have just been thrown out into the trash.
Is this in Paris?
Yeah,
Marseille.
Marseille.
That actually won the award for cleanest street in France.
It's brilliant, truly. I suppose we'll listen to the audio on this because you and me both love French accents.
Is it a man going "Sacre bleu"?
Oh, something like that. I hope.
يا بابا البق رحلهم يا اخوي.
Wait a second.
هادو قاع تاع الناس.
Interesting French accent.
السبه هو البقبوق.
And that writing at the bottom of the screen didn't look French either.
I don't know why that happened.
I learned in.
Sorry about that.
I studied French in school, and that didn't look like any French I'd ever seen.
Well, I don't know what to say, but anyway, we'll begin just before we get into the bugs, promoting something on lotusleaders.com, this being Dan's, Brokenomics series, this episode on house prices, with these two guys who are medium-level developers making houses in the UK, because it was good. I watched it. It was very good. So if you want some good, go check that out, because that one's good. Anyway.
If you want more Gooderist content, then you go to the website.
And watch just this video. Just watch that one. Just watch all of it.
And then make your own mind up. I'm not your dad.
Anyway, so we'll get back into the bugs. So as you could hear that Frenchman telling us from Morocco or Monaco. That makes even less
Marseille.
sense. Well, how did he end up
scroll
writing in gibberish then?
Scroll back up to the top. So a new story. It's just the poster saying that it's from Monaco.
Okay, but then what's with the?
They've just
the
found the TikTok.
Okay, what's with the noodle speak and what's with the noodle text? Someone let us know. I thought this was French, but never mind. We'll move on because it's gross.
Oh,
and
man.
for people who don't like bugs, probably skip skip this one. But if you want to live in reality and see what's coming, this is it. And I suppose we'll listen to this. This is awful. This is another TikTok from France here.
You know, it started by somebody on 4chan who hates French people.
That's not true, sadly.
I've instantly believed it.
Crawling all over public transport, airports, cinemas, and hospitals.
People who can't hear it, he's showing us all the bugs and being like, state of it.
Have you ever had bed bugs?
No. Do you want to tell us your story? Because you said you had.
Yes, I lived on Edgware Road in this block of flats. Basically, it was my mate rented out this flat as sort of short-term lets to Gulf Arab businessmen. But as soon as COVID happened and you couldn't evict people, these guys were basically gangsters, just like took over it, and he couldn't get them out, and he paid them to leave, and they took the money and just stayed. It's so funny. I mean, it's not funny.
And what do you expect?
But yeah. So he said to me, like, if you can get them out, like you can stay there for free because it's during, I didn't have any work because it's during the pandemic and stuff, and it's Edgware Road, so it was great. So like eventually paid them off and they agreed to leave, and I went down there and like made sure they went out and we changed the locks and stuff. But like I guess because it's the block of flats is just like people coming and going from the Middle East all the time. Because I think you get bed bugs in the Middle East. Man, I got bed bugs and it was genuinely the most horrific thing. Like it was horrible. It was horrible. So I was seeing this lassie. I don't know if they were biting me or if I just didn't come up on, like, didn't get any reaction. But my girlfriend at the time came down to stay with me. She got these like red blotches on her skin. And she's like, I must be allergic to something. And then the next day there's like more. And then the next day there's more. And, we're like, what's going on? And I was like, well, maybe is there mites or something in the bed? So I turn over the mattress and I turn up one side and it's like, no, there's nothing there. I turn up the other bit and it's like this, and like a fucking swarms and they're all wriggling and they're fucking big. Mm. They're big. This is what you think of like bed bugs or little mites or something as being like, maybe on the head of a pin. No, these are like, honestly, like
once they're adults,
a woodlouse. They're bigger than a woodlouse. Man, they're big and scuttly, and you could see where
everyone's getting itchy.
Shat out all the blood onto the mattress and stuff. The thing is,
horrible thing.
And like my girlfriend was freaking out, and so she went back up she lived in Glasgow, and I had to basically you get this stuff diatomaceous dust. It's this dust that is so fine and it clogs up in their gills.
We'll get to it because it's
really. And I had to it's all the legs of the bed and the dust. I had to chuck out the mattress, fumigate everything. diatomaceous dust everywhere, like how you make a sort of put the ashes down when you're camping, and yeah, man. And I had to had to like buy a saw off Amazon and cut up the bed frame because they hide everywhere and like
they're really, really hard to kill.
Man, impossible.
So this is the problem. So as we can see here in Paris, they're just utterly infested with it, and this is like the public transport. Whoa. So not even the mattresses. Like you get on a first class seat because it affects first and all classes, no matter how much you try and wipe it down. That's not going to.
They must be socialists.
So yeah, well, they're just like in the first class seats, but you can find them everywhere. And this keeps going. I mean, this guy here, this footage here of imagine being on public transport and seeing that thing crawling around, and that's a full adult there. And then you think, okay, they're everywhere.
That's disgusting.
They're absolutely everywhere.
And this is just the common thing in France now. If you're not being assaulted by gangs of foreign migrants, then you're being assaulted by gangs of bedbugs, even when you're not in bed. It's absolutely absurd there. And people don't believe me when I tell them that there's a thing called Paris syndrome that affects Japanese people.
Oh, it doesn't just affect the Japs.
Yeah, it affects
anyone who turns on Paris at this point.
Have you heard of this, Leo?
No, what is it?
Basically, Japanese people, they watch a lot of movies and they get their idea of the foreign world from movies. And Paris is always portrayed as this amazing wonderland where you go there and you fall in love. Everything is beautiful. Everybody's friendly. The sunsets. Go to the Eiffel Tower. And then they go there, and the disconnect in reality from what they expect actually makes them physically ill, and most of them end up having to go home early because the
Japanese embassy has a special department to deal with it at this point.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. But you can see here some more French footage. I don't know why there's more Cheerios, but you can see like the bed bugs in the water, like encased.
In the water.
Yeah, they're encased in the plastic wrapping around the water there. These bowls of water at a French supermarket. And this is the story really, which bed bugs are pretty much everywhere. But Paris is having such a massive infection of them.
It's also infested with rats. I think rats outnumber the people 2 or 3 to 1 there.
We should say it's not just Paris, of course, as we went over previously. It's Marseille as well, but it's moving all over France and then expanding out. You mentioned the 4chan
We'll get
thing.
on the channel soon.
I'll mention it real quick.
Boat's going to bring over bed bugs
because there is this post going around that's talking about how it was some 4chaner who did it, and it's not true. If you find the original post,
I still believe
it's a French guy writing on a French image board, so it's not even 4chan.
Right.
About how he's done this, so that it doesn't make sense. That's a myth that's been started, which is kind of annoying because it's not true. But there we are. I mean, I do love this. I mean, some guy decided to tweet out, "You guys know that bed bugs are harmless, right? They are filthy and irritated, but still harmless." It's like, the bed bug write this? Like, not harmless. What are you talking about? They carry diseases.
Yeah.
People, they're infectious and
they're horrible,
just disgusting.
Even if it was that they're just filthy and irritating, why should anyone have to put up with that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
The rats are perfectly harmless, guys. Just leave them alone.
I mean, the bed bugs apparently now have newspapers. The Guardian, for some reason, has sided with the bed bugs. Never mind the French connection. Bed bugs are already on the rise in Britain. We must learn to live with them.
We need a constitutional amendment for the bed bugs.
Says James Bug. He, for some reason, says that we shouldn't even try and eradicate them. They're just learn to live with them. And actually, you know what you should do is
the Black Plague is here to stay, guys, and we've just got to live with it.
You should learn to grow more blood, please. It says the Guardian. Anyway, but
yum yum, it said, licking its lips.
You can see Emmanuel Macron here talking about the situation in Israel. A lot of people just responding. It's kind of weird for you to talk about war when you're losing a war against bedbugs right now, which is true. And maybe we should listen to the experts, though. I found one expert who I sincerely believe in. She's from Indonesia. She has a response of what we must do because the pesticides aren't working. There you are. So maybe. Just saying, just putting it out there. That,
maybe we do need Team America in Paris now.
It turns out the bedbugs now support Palestine, apparently. So you can see, I hope the bedbugs destroy that country for real, says a Palestinian supporter here, and a lot of other noodle appreciators in France. So
is bedbug going to become a new dog whistle after this segment?
No. But you can see, like, I don't know if people know about this, but they're hosting the Olympics, supposedly, in 9 months in Paris. And they already have this problem.
Happening.
But there's already this problem. This guy does a good video about it. I love his animations. Where, because of the way the Paris sewers work, there's a huge amount of, untreated shit water in the main river.
Right.
Because whenever the storm supply, the pumps there, I forget the name, what is it? Storm drainage? I think that's the word. You can see how little I know. But this, when that overflows, the shit water gets pushed up through it because otherwise it would end up in people's houses and then ends up
like Britain
in the River Seine. So they were promising that they would run the swimming events in the river, but obviously it's full of shit. So
Yeah.
you literally can't do that. It's not safe. So whilst they've got this, and they spent billions and billions of euros trying to solve that, they've now got the bedbug infection to exterminate within 9 months. So good luck with that one.
Can the two be used to cancel each other out in some way?
Yeah, and I would have thought, haha, French, but of course it's right there. So now people have been noticing them on the Victoria line, the main line
Oh
for
no!
the international
Are you
Heathrow Airport.
serious?
Yeah, so
What?
this is
Is this just a rule of reality? All the worst things happen in France and then immediately spread out like a disease.
yeah. So you can see them thriving on the Vicky line as people discuss it there, and there's more of them. It's not just the one, but there's that, and of course, well, some people saying that bed bugs are in Birmingham and Leicester. So this guy has a solution, which is panic. Which don't know about that. I mean, there's also the question. I mean, being in Swindon, I'm just like, well, anything in London gets here in 7 days at least.
Yeah.
So there's that. And apparently it is true. You can see the Times reporting that the pest control are busier than ever,
Oh.
specifically bedbug calls all over the country. I mean, they're talking here about the commuter area, Bedford, Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire. They're talking about there's a massive uptick. They're now at 25 calls a week, where it used to be 1 or 2 a month in regards to bed bugs. So there we are. So that's great. That's fantastic. City Khan saying that it's a source of concern. I would have been a cause for war, personally. Just stop it now. Stop the spread. 7 days to flatten the curve. I don't know. I just can't stand bug infections. There is some data on this for people who are interested. Of course, bed bugs have been around for ages. You can see the most infected cities. For some reason, there's a list here. Leicester. I mean, London's number 1, most densely populated area. Fair enough. Leicester is like the 12th biggest city in England. And for some reason, they're number 2 in all of the UK.
What
For infection
do
rate.
Leicester, Marseille, and Paris all share in common?
I don't know, but it's obviously not just that. There's the United States as well. People wondering if in the US how bad it is. I mean, you can see here it's not a population density map again. For some reason, it's certain areas. Higher there is just getting screwed. You can see New York City is the worst one.
Oh my god!
So to give some comparison, when this chart was made, this is for a year's situation. So in Los Angeles, there were 400 instances they recorded of mass bedbug infections where professionals had to go out and completely destroy the place, with fumes and whatnot. And then New York City, there is 4,500. It's more than 10 times Los Angeles. New York City is just awful.
I guess it's all apartments and stuff because they can migrate between apartments.
Yeah.
Through like
You can catch the subway too.
And yeah, like, and they can, if you've traveled somewhere, a lot of people pick them up in hotels and bring them back home, so they can get inside your bag. So you got to like be really careful with your bag.
I did. I told my mum about all this because I was talking about it, and she was like, "Oh, we had bed bugs when we were a kid as well." Being up north and no one knowing about silicon and crap, they just burnt everything. They just burnt all their clothes on the beds and everything. I was like, "All right,
I mean, that works for me.
that's one way of dealing with it."
That's the North solution.
Yeah, the disgust in her voice, remembering what happened during that time. I'm just like, I'm doing everything I can to keep these monsters out of my apartment block.
Yeah.
But I live in basically somewhere that is just London but Swindon. So I'm
You live in mini India, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's 60-something% Indian where I live.
Right.
But anyway, moving on. So there's a video here. This is a guy who just does a video about.
And they're
bed bugs.
feeding.
Yeah, he decides to do a whole deep dive into them. I do recommend this if you're interested in the subject. And here's the defenses you can use and the offensive measures which work. So for people wondering, I'll just describe them, I guess. The bed in a bag thing. There's these big bags you can buy where you zip up your entire mattress in case there are bed bugs in the mattress.
I got one of them.
Yep, and then you have to leave it for a year to be completely sure that they're all starved to death.
They can live for like months and months and months without any food.
6 months to a year, depending on the temperature.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really hard to kill. Drying, so when you wash your sheets and whatnot and everything else, you'll need to dry it above 50 degrees centigrade.
Yeah.
So that'll kill them instantly. That works. That's something
Alright.
that does work. 3, which is just declutter your house to get rid of all the hiding places. And then if you've got them for sure and you want to make sure you kill them all, vacuuming, that works. Make sure you empty the bag after you've done it and outside immediately. The dichotomous earth thing. So that's the thing you're talking about. You get silicon dioxide.
Yeah.
And then you spray it. And what happens is the bed bugs, they get covered in it. And then they go back to their friends and they cover them in it as well.
Yeah.
And what it is that the silicon dioxide dehydrates the bed bug. So they literally just die of dehydration.
Yeah.
And there's no way they can build immunity to that.
And it gets, apparently some of them are getting immune to it, but yeah, it gunks up, it gets in all the cracks and stuff in their bodies.
Why are bed bugs so difficult to kill?
because we used to use chemicals to kill them and lots of pesticides, which was great. And I believe it's something like the 40s or 50s that stopped working because they started to become immune to it.
And also because we don't want to use those chemicals anymore because they're bad for us as well.
Well, they just don't work. So, I mean, like this guy, he's with some professor and they did a test. And when they used the chemicals in all different circumstances, it killed 12% of the bed bugs.
No way.
But you know what also killed 12% of the bed bugs? Water. Because they're just immune. It doesn't work.
Right,
So,
right.
so would flooding my house work?
Well, no, but there is the last thing here, which is steam. So if you hit them with steamers, of course, that's way over 50 degrees. That will kill them 100% of the time as well. So that's the solutions in case you
What
get
about
them.
smashing them?
That will work. You'll kill some, but you ain't going to kill them all. And
I can try.
so just try your best to avoid them, kill them if you can, and this whole story.
Gross.
Frankly. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on the history of aviation. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.